Hello, my crafty friends. Today I am sharing a Halloween card in some not so traditional colors. It's definitely more sweet than scary. I'm also going to do a tutorial on how to do a simple box pop-up. I haven't done one in a while and I thought it was time to do an updated one. So we're going to do that together here in a bit. I'll just go over some of my details and then we can get to the tutorial. My card is larger than A2. It is 4¼ by 6¼ It comes with this pretty envelope. My card and envelope today are from the hand penned suite, which is available at Stampin' Up. It's the, I believe it's called Memories and More cards. I really like their card packs. They're nice, sturdy cards. I love that they're printed and that they have decorated envelopes. So because I do also really like the hand-penned stamps and pattern paper, I did also buy the cards. So that's what I started out with for my card today. And then one of the coordinating colors in the paper is Pale Papaya. So the cardstock that I'm using is also a Stampin' Up! Pale Papaya cardstock. And then the hand-penned patterned paper. I'm not sure if I have the names correct. I am not a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. The Happy Halloween is new from Karen Burniston. It has the shadow as well, and you can see the vellum one here. I actually cut it out of vellum, first thinking that that's what I would use, but there wasn't enough contrast. So I've just tucked it inside the plastic envelope and I will save it for another use. The pumpkin, those are from Lawn Fawn. I used the stitched pumpkin frame to do the outside, and that's out of the Pale Papaya. And then there is the outside in stitched pumpkin, and that's what I used for the face and the base of the pumpkin and the stem, and then I used the smaller leaf here. I cut the face and the stem from brown cardstock, and I did a little bit of inking with Tailored Expressions blending brushes on the bottom of both the frame and the pumpkin was cut from one of the papers in the hand-penned suite. I'm not sure if it shows up in video, but the face is nice and sparkly because of a Wink of Stella pen. So there was the front of my card done. I did add my layers to the inside because we're going to do a pop-up. We're going to pop up this boo, and the pop-up platform is the last thing that you would hear. So it is not necessary to do any decorating inside your card. I like the look on it for this card. But it's not something you have to do, but if you are going to do it, make sure that those layers are done before you do your pop-up. So this is what we're going to pop up, this pretty little oval here. It uses the ovals, which is the infinity dies from Hero Arts. And then this boo, this is from Karen Burniston's Halloween Elements. It's been out for a couple of years. I love this boo and I use it every Halloween. It cuts as a single piece. So I cut it out of the same pattern paper as the front of my pumpkin, added some inking at the bottom and also Wink of Stella at the bottom so it's nice and shiny. To make our pop-up platform, we need a strip of cardstock that is 6 inches long and 1 inch wide. And we're going to score it at 1/2 inch, 3 inches, and 3½ inches. That's all you need to do for your pop-up. Here's my 6 inch long strip scored at 1/2, 3 inches, and 3½ inches. Then you're going to work the folds, and they're all mountain folds. And that creates your box to pop up. When we're adhering this inside our card, we're putting adhesive on this outside piece and this outside piece here. So it might be helpful to make those marks with a pencil. So just on this outside edge, and I'm using a light touch. I have enough layers, it's not going to show through, but you don't want something to bleed through. And there is my X on this outside flap and the X on this outside flap. Next, you're going to fold it in half, and you're going to know it's in half because you've got your fold on the right and the two outside edges line up. If you don't have it folded properly, if you folded it on this one, your fold will still be on the right, but your outside edges don't match up. So you want to make sure that you fold on right in the center so your fold is on the right and your two edges are on the left side, the two open edges, and that they line up. And you're going to turn it so that the 1/2 inch is on the top. Now we're going to glue it inside our card, but you have your choice of where along the fold you want to adhere it. But if I were to glue it up high, my popped up element could stick outside the card. So I want to be careful of that. For personal preference, I would like to have some of the white showing both above and on either side of my pop-up element. I think I'm going to adhere it about right there. So I'm going to use the Barely Arts glue. It came with this stainless steel pin that keeps it from clogging. And then one of my YouTube followers gave me the tip of using a hair elastic. So it works perfectly to keep that pin in place. I take it off. Now I do put it upside down because I've put it the other way and poked myself. So we don't need to do that again. I keep my pin upside down, but then I always know where my pin is. So I'm adding adhesive to that 1/2 inch flap. And then it was about right there. Now you want it nestled right down in the fold. You don't want it to cross the fold. You don't want it too far from the fold. You are not adhering it where this layer is. It needs to be kind of right in the fold of the card. So I'm going to push it into the fold, close the card on it, and then just hold it for a few seconds to let that glue take. You do have to be a little more patient when you're using wet glue, but you also want a strong adhesive, so I don't know that an ATG gun or a tape runner would actually be strong enough. Now when you open the card, you can see your 1/2 inch part is adhered. We're going to leave the whole thing folded over. It has to be in half. We're only putting glue on this portion here, but you don't want it folded like this, where you're only seeing the portion you're going to put the glue on. It needs to be in half again, so your two outside edges will still match up. We'll put our glue on here. Like to get a little bit close to the edges. And then I'm going to close my card again, and then I'll just hold it for a minute to have it glued down. Now when I said that the pop-up is 1 inch by 6 inches, those measurements are ones you can play with. Because of the height of my pop-up here, I can get away with a full 1 inch, but you could also do them a 1/4 inch if you were just having something skinny, or if I was just going to do the boo. You could maybe do your pop-up out of something transparent like a piece of acetate and then add your boo to that. So there's lots of ways you can play with these pop-ups. Now that glue should be set, and there's my pop-up platform. Now we're going to add the boo, and this is again where you have to watch your pop-up element. If it's too wide, when you put it on, it will stick outside the card. If I was to adhere it here when I close the card, it would stick out. So again, using wet glue helps, gives you a little bit of room here. I'm going to add some glue. I don't put it all the way to the fold. I'm just putting it on, say, the right 2/3. You could even just do the right half to make sure that you know where it's going to sit. But if I were to lay this on here just temporarily and close the card, you can see it's going to stick out the edge. So the advantage to wet glue is that means I can shimmy it over, I think, to about right there. Make sure it's straight, close the card, and yeah, it stays inside. So that's where I want it. Now I'm going to press it down. And now I have my little boo pop up. Well, I used white cardstock, so it kind of blends in here. You could have used colored cardstock, a heavyweight pattern paper, but there's a little bit of lift. There's room to sign a name. I could even stamp another little greeting underneath here. And that is my simple box pop-up tutorial. My blog is in the description box below, and everything that's available is linked there for you. If you enjoyed my card today, please give my video a thumbs up and subscribe to see more. And that's it for me today.